Awesome. All right. Well, in summary, we have Alex Jangard, owner of Heart of Timber. He started out with having an Idaho sign made of wood on his wall. His friends loved it, offered him $20, and he sold it. He all of a sudden got the idea that I could start selling this stuff on Etsy. Got $1,000 in the first 3 months, and then decided to really start building it out as a true side hustle. And then eventually started moving into more custom furniture after people started reaching out. So instead of selling kind of $20, $50 sales, he's moving into the space of selling $2,000 to $5,000 custom tables. And his biggest recommendation is take care of yourself and prepare for criticism because it's going to come whether good or bad. Thanks so much for sharing your venture, Alex.
Hi, I'm Ryan Basso with the Venture College, a program within the College of Innovation Design at Boise State. The Venture College helps students and community members launch their ideas beyond the classroom and turn those ideas into startups, lifestyle businesses, side hustles, and other ventures. With the COVID-19 situation, we know that more and more people in our community and throughout Idaho, beyond just students, will be looking for ways to generate extra income. That's why we've started the Side Hustle series. We will be talking to successful entrepreneurs about starting and growing side hustles that can be done from just about anywhere in the world. If you're interested in learning more or need some help, contact us at venturecollege@boisestate.edu or go to our website to learn more. Also, watch out for our social media accounts for the next installments of the Side Hustle series.
Hello, everyone. I'm here with Alex Jangard, the owner and founder of Heart of Timber. And Alex, go ahead and tell us, what is Heart of Timber? What do you do and how do you make money?
Yeah, so I run a furniture company out of my garage, and I believe that when people have a table they're proud to gather around, they live a fuller life. So I build everything from dining tables to coffee tables for people, offices, and restaurants, and whether it's an at-home office space or in an office.
Okay. Would you say, like, if you were to split the revenue percentage between commercial and residential, what percentages would you say you're at?
It's probably a 65-35. And then between the 35 is probably commercial. Well, it's probably 10% office, 65% residential, and then the last 25% commercial.
Okay, great. And tell us, how did you get into the space?
So I started out by tinkering in my garage, and I just made an Idaho cutout with a jigsaw, hung it on my wall, and I had some friends over, and they just said, "Hey, I'll give you $20 for that." And so kind of tilted my head and said, I wonder if more people would buy it.
So you didn't even have to ask for the sale. They just offered it.
Now they're like, "Dude, you make that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Sweet, I'll give you $20." And I was like, "Okay." Now today, I'd probably negotiate a little more.
Sure.
So that's how that started. And then from there, I used a marketplace called Etsy. And I believe their pricing's still the same. It's 20 cents and you can have a functioning e-commerce platform. And so what I did was took some pictures on my phone, put them on Etsy, and within the first 3 or 4 weeks, I probably had close to $1,000 in sales.
Was it the same type of, like, how many different product lines did you have on Etsy?
Between Etsy, not all the SKUs, but I had a bunch of different states. I had some coffee tables, some end tables, and then within then I'd offer sizing and colors, a dozen or so.
Okay. Do you feel like, and how long ago was this? Just put a timeline on it.
I started in spring of 2015.
So do you feel like if someone jumped on Etsy right now and started posting like their Idaho cutouts, would it sell as quickly, or is it more saturated now?
It's more saturated now. I'm not saying that you wouldn't sell, and it did take some search engine optimization. There's some tools you can just Google how to search engine optimize on Etsy and go from there. So it is a little more crowded, but it is a great place, very cheap way to test if you actually can sell anything.
Okay. So like if I was starting out in the space, is that your recommended, first step is put it on Etsy and see if anything sells?
That or Facebook Marketplace, or even on Instagram. Facebook, Instagram, you can make, you can have products as well. Facebook Marketplace is probably in tandem with Etsy, what I would do, because you can list things for free instead of 20 cents, So that way, maybe you get someone local from Facebook, maybe not. And just as many platforms as you can, as cheap as you can, so that you can expose to the wide breadth of people that are online all the time.
Okay, so walk us through your timeline again. So you post on Etsy, you get about $1,000 of revenue in the first couple months, then what?
From there, it started people started asking, hey, can you make this? Can you make that? Can you do this project? Have you ever done this before?
Through
My answer
Etsy,
was,
or how are they communicating with you?
it was, yeah, so Etsy has a conversation feature. They get a message saying, hey, have you ever made this kind of coffee table? And I'd say, no, but I can for this price. And I would throw a number out based off of rough numbers. And then I would say I can do it. Or if I had friends in conversation, I would also just say, no, I haven't done it, but sure. So I always was very optimistic and confident that I could figure out how to do anything. And I wasn't as hesitant to say no.
Okay, and walk us through, you said you used kind of rough numbers to set your pricing. Like, can you give a little bit more detail there? So I asked you, can you do a specific coffee table, a 4x4, here's what I want it to look like. What would you actually do to be able to price that out?
Yeah, so I usually add up on my materials, add 10%, and then my hourly rate, however many hours I think is gonna go by. I would definitely recommend starting at $50 an hour. I had a hard time swallowing that because I didn't believe I was worth that. But I would start there. And then if you're able to, add a little padding for yourself in profit. So typically breakdown, it's 40% materials, 40% my time, sales tax, and profit is generally about how I price things.
Okay, so how's it evolved? So like, you went through Etsy, people started reaching out, and obviously now you're getting a lot more, is it inbound traffic? Or tell us about that evolution of where you're at now versus where you were a couple years ago.
Someone just called in. So the question was, how does it progress?
Yeah, just how is it different now versus, those like 3 years ago when people started asking for basic custom stuff and you started getting in that space?
Yeah, so it's changed now to, I started testing with new products such as using epoxy in tables, making river tables. They're really popular, making different styles, different kinds of bases. And with each piece I was making, price tended to jump. I would just up my time involved or profit if I could. My relationships with suppliers got better, so I got better pricing. And it grew from, I don't know, in the first 12 to 18 months, I probably sold $20,000 worth of furniture. And last year we did close to 200,000. So over 4 years, it's been progressively increasing at a good, healthy rate.
And so initially Etsy was your main like volume of customers. Where are those customers coming from now?
Now it's direct. So whether it's Instagram, Facebook, any social platform, they come directly to me. They go to heartoftimber.com and they can get a quote for a piece. And then you write a check or I send an invoice through QuickBooks, and that way I have the most margin as possible. And if I do a sale online, I usually lose that, margin. But I've since gone away from Etsy because I'm not really making those Idaho signs anymore.
Yeah.
It's mostly larger pieces, average price points, $3,000 to $5,000.
So
and then,
at what point were you like, I'm leaving these online platforms, I'm going to start building my own brand? Like, was it just a matter of like, you started selling higher end furniture and so it just didn't fit the space? Or tell me about that process.
Yeah, the decision probably was volume versus quality. Not that the signs were not quality, but I would rather focus on 2 to 5 tables a month rather than 250 signs.
Sure.
And so for me, that decision was, I'm going to invest in these pieces that people are more proud of and they last a lot longer. And with Etsy getting a little bit more crowded, it was a little bit easier to just make sure that I could control the relationship with the customer one-on-one instead of someone just price shopping. To answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I had a talent or a hobby kind of like yours, which is more like a tradesman skill set, any pitfalls that I should think of that you could give warning to?
A lot of the time my work is very closely tied to me as a person. And so when someone doesn't agree with quality or their experience, it directly affects me as a person. So if someone is a worker that builds, say, a set of coasters or something, and say your product's horrible, this or that, you generally take it a little bit more personal. So be ready for criticism, good and bad, and just know that you can always keep building for the next client and do the best you can to communicate up front. So that's the only downside. I'd definitely say take care of yourself. I thought it was really cool to have sawdust everywhere and not wear my mask and all that stuff. And I'm already starting to see, like those early first, 12 months it's had a toll on me. So
Sure.
take care of yourself.
Okay, awesome. And then are there any type of tools, more like software, business tools that you use to help run your business now?
I would definitely absorb as much information about selling through social media. And then second, QuickBooks has been great.
Do you recommend just like blogs? Is there a specific person you follow?
I followed a digital marketer is a great content source. They have everything from SEO and blog content to how do you run Facebook ads.
Okay.
That's a good one. And other than that, there's a lot of content. So in time, after you read over and over, they kind of repeat the same thing.
Yeah.
Secondly, like I was saying, QuickBooks, something to actually document your sales. I was pretty sloppy with my books early on and came back to bite me, and, just be diligent. Don't stress about it, but, be professional.
Do you feel it's like, if you're still on the side hustle, kind of making money on the side, is diligent bookkeeping just as important?
I would argue yes, so that you could take advantage of expensing things. So if you're a sole proprietor running everything through your social security number, you can talk to an accounting professional about how to, do that. But I would say it helps you keep track of your actual costs, because a lot of times when you price something out, you're like, oh, it'll be this much wood, and you make a mistake and have all that. So it's mostly for in-house, keeping sure that your margins and numbers are accurate.
Awesome. All right. Well, in summary, we have Alex Jangard, owner of Heart of Timber. He started out with having an Idaho sign made of wood on his wall. His friends loved it, offered him $20, and he sold it. He all of a sudden got the idea that I could start selling this stuff on Etsy. Got $1,000 in the first 3 months, and then decided to really start building it out as a true side hustle. And then eventually started moving into more custom furniture after people started reaching out. So instead of selling kind of $20, $50 sales, he's moving into the space of selling $2,000 to $5,000 custom tables. And his biggest recommendation is take care of yourself and prepare for criticism, because it's going to come whether good or bad. Thanks so much for sharing your venture, Alex.
Thanks for listening. While you're waiting for the next episode, feel free to contact us or follow us on social media.